Hello and welcome to another episode of Sports with Monga. It's COTA, baby. It's Austin, Formula One, the Circuit of the Americas, Grand Prix. And Sainz, after a disastrous, like almost a forgettable Suzuka or the Japanese Grand Prix, he bounces back. Ferrari were really fast. They were rapid and quick. Of course, Charles Leclerc finishes P2, but he takes a 10-place grid penalty for the new ICE and the engine parts that he's taking out of his allocation. He starts P12. Max Verstappen starts next to Sainz, along with Lewis Hamilton. Perez takes a 5.5, I think 5-spot grid penalty, and starts P8. But a mixed up grid. But just to kind of start off, Dietrich Mateschitz, the co-owner of Red Bull Racing, he sadly has passed away. Our condolences to the family and friends and the whole Formula One community, to the guy who had a vision, who dreamed and basically got Red Bull Racing and Alpha Tauri, the two teams with 4 drivers, 4 cars on the grid, who have been kind of on the pinnacle of motorsport for quite some time now, even during their old struggles and so on and so forth. But coming back to the race itself, the qualifying itself, I think it's pretty clear from early on the way it was kind of headed, with the big surprise, of course, of being Ocon actually getting out. Ocon was kind of out in Q1. So Kevin Magnussen, Daniel Ricciardo, Esteban Ocon, Michael Schumacher, and Nicolas Latifi, the first ones out in Q1. Out in Q2, and after a really great performance from Alex Albon, kind of the blonde who has blonde everywhere. Alex Albon 11th, Sebastian Vettel P12, Pierre Gasly P13. Pierre Gasly almost feels like he's frustrated, or he just does. He's almost feels like an Alpine driver already. Like the complaints, like of a French driver, are coming through. But I really don't know. Like, is the team kind of not listening to him, or are they kind of given up? I can't tell. But Pierre Gasly, I think, was struggling from the start. He kept saying that there was some balance issues that he couldn't he could not deal with in a way. But anyway, Zhou Guanyu basically finishing a P14, Yuki Tsunoda P15, and our pole hitter basically is not Sebastian Vettel. It is Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz is going to start P1 tomorrow. Very interesting to hear from Max Verstappen. He's pretty chill. He's won the championship already, so he doesn't need to worry too much about it. But the constructor is still there. But Ferrari has always been kind of pipping a Red Bull over the pole positions, at least on a lot of occasions. Max doesn't have a lot of poles, but he has a lot of wins, and that's what that's the big tell, that Red Bull have a very strong car for the race. Ferrari, on the other hand, are very strong on the day of qualifying. So that's kind of how I see things there. But yes, tomorrow's an open race. That'll be very interesting to see how that goes. But just to know also that, like, Lewis will look P3. That'll be interesting. They were pretty close. It might be very interesting to turn 1 be up, and then the left-hander to turn 1. That'll be very interesting to watch. I think in my mind, I think it's Mick Schumacher didn't have a good day at the office today. He's in a straight shootout with Nico Hülkenberg for his seat at Haas. But Lawrence Sargent being confirmed for the Williams seat basically for next year, given if he has enough and the points that he needs to drive in Formula One. That'll be interesting to watch. I think the season is kind of kicked off and almost getting into it because there are only a couple of seats left now to kind of know exactly who's coming and who's not. But Sargent kind of coming back from the F2, that'll be very interesting to see how that kind of goes forward. But Daniel Ricciardo struggling, he came on a horse, he left in a horse in a way, almost couldn't capitalize on anything. And he loves this circuit, like the whole American way, and so on and so forth. So it's kind of it's pretty interesting to see that kind of the fun element that he brings on. But then of course he could not bring it up to the to actual track size positions. Lando Norris did a good job. I think he starts P7 or could be something else. I might be wrong. The finals, of course, they're still not out yet, like after all these grid penalties and so on. So what is the way, or what is the order of the starting grid? That's kind of still being kind of, I think, after penalties being discussed or thought of. But Carlos Sainz starts P1, pole position. Max Verstappen closely behind, along with Lewis Hamilton. I think it's a pretty interesting start to the to an already decided championship, like a driver championship. That driver championship, to already decided driver championship, with Max Verstappen already winning in Suzuka in a bizarre fashion, and kind of getting through that. And not a lot of talk about the cost cap as well, but I'll keep you posted if I hear something about it. But then also the fact that generally Ferrari has been the one that has been struggling in the race rather than Red Bull. But it'll be interesting to see if Hamilton or if Mercedes can actually bring up the pace to kind of cause upset to any of these two teams, because there are points to grab if any of these two teams, and we're expecting Leclerc to come back from behind. A lot can happen. This is a long track. But yeah, very interesting to see how this goes. There are two more races that there will be in the Americas this season, but then this is the start of the rest of the world, kind of. And yeah, and that's very interesting to see how this will proceed. Because obviously the driver champion, the second in the driver championship is just open. It's between Leclerc, Sainz, Russell, and Perez. So it's all depends on also how that ends, in a way. Also kind of the bragging rights that Perez might want to have, losing to just Max Verstappen, his own teammate. But then he's been amazing form. So that'll be interesting to see. Do let me know what you think about this. Do let me know what do you think about Carlos. Will Carlos Sainz hold it off in the turn one? I really feel there might be a touch, just to kind of a small touch where they kind of yeah, could be. It could be anything, but Max is more measured this season. So let's see how this goes. But Lou, let me know what you think. Would Ferrari kind of continue, or do you see it to be a very easy win by for Red Bull? And looking forward to hearing from you. Do like the video, do share, and do subscribe. And catch you in the next one.